Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururapiti Murti Bheda Vibhagini Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Sada Shiva Samarambha Shankaracharya Madhyama Asmadacharya Paryanta Vande Guru Parampara Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we began this short text, Upadesha Saaram, very profound text, which means the essence of the entire Vedic teachings in a very compact manner. In just 30 verses, Ramana Maharishi expresses the Vedic vision of life and the way of life. And Ramana Maharishi is known as the sage of Tiruvannamalai, who spent 50 plus years in Tiruvannamalai and completely contemplating and absorbed in the Parameshwara Tattvam symbolized by Arunachala in the heart until his Mahasamadhi in 1950, April 14th, a very important day. So, in a very crisp manner, this text unfolds the preparatory disciplines. What we saw in the entire Gita, the three Shaktams, are expressed here. The role of karma, the role of bhakti, and Dhyana Yoga, and ultimately Jnana Yoga in these 30 verses. Yeah? And if you remember the story, the background story, and how Parameshwara is giving Upadesha to those rishis in the Daruka Vanam, and who were very attached to the Karma Kanda portion of the Vedas. Yeah? And that essence of the teachings on the request of Muruganar, a great devotee of Maharishi, this has been composed, the Upadesha Saaram. Now, there are many other beautiful works of Ramana Maharishi, which we are yet to do. Sat Darshanam is an advanced text of Jnana Yoga, 100 verses or so. Then Viveka Chudamani, Atma Bodha is there. In many regional languages, and Akshara Manimala is a garland of letters, a praise, a garland in praise that Ramana Maharshi composed for Arunachala. It's called the marital garland. And there is also the Arunachala Pancharatnam, 5 verses like our Panchakams in praise and glory of Arunachala, which is the Kailasa of the south, which is worshipped as Agni Lingam and as Parama Tattva. So, we saw the context, what is the context of this text is when those rishis in the Daruka Vanam, they were like the Purva Mimamsakas or Nirishwaras. So, they claim that karma alone can produce the result. There is no role for Ishvara. Yeah, and their contention is, we don't believe in any supreme reality governing the universe. You have Shraddha in these rituals, do it with devotion and they will bear results. Yeah. So, in the very first verse, Maharishi, he demolishes that contention. Yeah, and proves, establishes the existence of Ishvara. So, the first verse, is Kartuhu Agnyaya Prapyate Phalam. Yeah. So, Kartuhu Agnyaya is, who is the Karta here? Kartuhu refers to Jagat Karta. And Jagat Karta is Ishvara. Yeah, only by the cosmic law and order of Ishvara, Kartuhu Agnyaya Prapyate Phalam, is the outcome and the result of any action possible. Actions by themselves cannot produce an outcome. Karma kim param? No, karma tat jadam. Yeah? They don't have the power to determine the outcome and the result. So, the first verse establishes an intelligent principle, Ishvara, which governs this entire universe. There is a definition in Taittiriya Upanishad, regarding Ishvara. Who is Ishvara? And the answer is Yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yam prayantyapi sambhishanti. Bhagavad Gita also, we had a verse in chapter 18. Yatah pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam swakarmanatam abhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha. 46th shloka of chapter 18. So what these shlokas mean is that from which the universe is manifest, by which it is pervaded and sustained, into which the universe returns is Ishvara. That is the Kartuhu here. Kartuhu Agnyaya Prapyate Phalam. Yeah? So you see the verse 1 becomes like a prayer verse because it starts with the definition of the creator, Ishvara, who is the intelligent principle. By whose command yataschodeti suryaha yatraja astam gacchati. In Kathopanishad, Yama Dharmaraja gives the Upadesha to Nachiketa that by whose command the sun and the moon rise and set, by whose command the planets and the satellites follow their orbits, the seasons are happening in a cyclic manner, the oceans have their assigned locations and they don't transgress. Yeah, so that is the order. And then the Upanishad says Panchamaha Dhavati. The fifth one, Yamadharmaraja is running around the place, very busy person doing his duty. So everything is following the grand cosmic order. And even that which appears chaotic to us, from our point of view, we would question why are wars happening, tsunamis, how sad, and earthquakes, chaotic occurrences. But the definition of Ishvara is there is no random occurrence or accident. Even they are within the big picture and the cosmic order of Ishvara. And this is exactly what Arjuna experiences as the Vishwarupa Darshanam in chapter 11 of the Bhagavad Gita. He sees the big picture. He sees everything in there. Wars, the good guys, the bad guys, rushing into the mouth, Kala Devata, in the Gita. So, but these Purva Mimamsakas, what is their contention? If you plant a seed, then it will bear fruit, it will germinate, and there will be a plant and a bush and a tree, flowers and fruits. Yeah? But Krishna says very clearly in the Gita, Yada dityagatam tejaha jagadbhasayate khilam yachandramasi yachagno tattejo vidhi mamakam gama vishyacha bhutani dharayam yaha mojasa Pushnami chaushadhi sarvaha somo bhutva rasatmakaha. Arjuna, I am the Tejas in all the luminaries. Then their light enters the earth and then somaha bhutva rasatmakaha. Aham pushnami. I nourish the soil and the seed and make everything succulent and rasatmakaha. So how can one not take the intelligent principle into account? That is the, meaning of the very first verse. Then second line, karma kim param, karma tat jadam. Karma cannot have the power to determine the outcome. You take this, you take the law books. Today we have the law books to award the punishment to the criminals. Yeah, but can the books themselves do that? No, obviously. There needs to be a sentient judge or a jury who will interpret the laws, and they have to take into account what the suspects, the scene of the crime, the motive, and all the evidence that is presented, and then give the punishment. So just like a software, software of a robot cannot perform the tasks unless it is programmed by a sentient person, programmer. That is the meaning here. And so, the first shloka presented Ishvara as the infallible law of karma, or we say karma phaladata, which connects the karma to the phala. And it is only Ishvara who can take into account how much Shraddha, with what Shraddha did I perform an action, where did I perform the action, what are the hidden variables, and which will determine the result. And that is why the Gita says, Karmani eva adhikaraha te, ma phaleshu kadachana. We can only initiate actions and plan well, but the result is not in my hands. There is that invisible, subtle, infallible law in place that will connect the karma and the karma. Then, what do we see in the second shloka? Yeah, one more thing. This, if everything is ordained by Ishvara, everything is fated, then the question may arise, what is the role of free will? Purushartha, yeah? So, as we saw recently in a Subhashitam, that yatha hi ekena chakrena rathasya gatihi na bhave tathapi purushakarena vina mokshaha na siddhyati. Yeah, that is, when a situation unfolds as per my prarabdha, I can make a wise, discriminative choice of the faculty of choice and apply my viveka. And the one who is surrendered to the situation and who is prayerful, there is the law of grace. The law of grace can alter the variables and even reverse the situation. Yeah, that is why Krishna says in the Gita, Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janaha paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam. Those who have ananya bhakti, that is the mumukshus, yeah, pursuing the higher knowledge and swarupa of Ishvara, I will take care of them, is Bhagavan's assurance in chapter 9 of their yoga and their kshema. So both these laws work in tandem. Law of karma, is definitely there, very strong karma, and then also Purushartha plays a role. And then that is how one can, come to the Shreyo Marga. Okay? Then in the second shloka, Kriti Mahodadhau Patana Karanam. Here, in this shloka, Maharishi presents the limitation of karma. Kriti Mahodadhau Patana Karanam. Yeah, this karmic ocean of becoming, Bhavasagara, is a cause of decline and patanam. Why? Phalam ashashvatam. Because the fruit of any action is shashvatam, finite and perishable. And further, karma is not only finite in nature, but gati nirodhakaha, obstructs my gati, the progress. Now here, the meaning here is, we all know the 4 Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, very well. Of these, 3 of them belong to the Purva Bhaga of the Vedas. Yeah? And collectively they are called prayas. Yeah? That is Dharma, Artha, Kama. And we all have fulfilled these pursuits in the first 50 years of our life, have we not? We all pursued a career and we traveled. We settled down, we have a family, had children, they got married, they got settled. Then we made the own house, perhaps, own house. Maybe gifted your flats to the children also. And then accumulated possessions, TV, laptop, car, and number of insurances, gold, bank balance. So now when we look back, how much we have achieved. And despite all these accomplishments and achievements, am I a free person today? Do I feel free and full and complete and secure? Very important. Rather, what is Bhagavan Maharishi saying? That, this is a chain of karmic actions and reactions. Now I have to take care of the property, of the car. I have to take care of relationships. And then desires may have multiplied exponentially. Yeah, and then age is advancing, but Ayu is reducing. The bank balance is getting debited, inflation is rising. Yeah, so the idea here is, as a karta, I will always be limited. My knowledge is limited, my resources is limited, skill is limited, and so karma phalam is limited and finite. Yeah, and this shows that even now, if there is a sense of insecurity in me, yeah, then what should I do? Is the karma the solution? No. So karma did definitely give me some peace, happiness, and security. Otherwise, I would not have achieved the first 50 years of my life. But now, what do the Vedas say? Pariksha lokan karma chitan brahmanaha nirvedam ayat. Let us do pariksha. That which one really desires, the need behind the desires, the fullness, the permanent satisfaction. Is it possible by finite karma and means? No. Nasti akritaha kritena tat vijnanartham gurumevaabhigachyet shrotriya brahmanishtam samitpanihi. The famous mantra from the Mundaka Upanishad. So the one who is awakened to this fact of life, that finite means can never free me from limitation because they are limited. Yeah. So finite numbers, when you add, will always give me a finite number. How can I ever get infinite? So that is the gist of the second shloka. That as a karta, as I go through the prarabdha karma, which is just one slice of my sanchita, then I am exhausting papa, punya, karma, phalam. Then even as I am experiencing prarabdha, fresh karma can be created. Then that joins the sanchita, and then my sanchita account becomes bigger and bigger. And that is what Maharishi says, Kriti Maha Dadhau. It is like a huge ocean which is unfathomable and shoreless. Yeah. And so karma, now what do we mean by karma here? Desire-based karmas. Yeah, kamya karmas. The karmas which are prompted by raga and dvesha. That is the main karmas here. They will bind me to the cycle of samsara. Kama, karma, karma phalam, janma. So karma is really the grandchild of ignorance. Avidya, kama, karma, karma phalam, janma. The cycle we know very well. Now even good actions. What about dharma? Suppose somebody says, oh, I am a very religious person. I do Sandhya Vandanam. I perform all the festivals, everything meticulously. Will they get freedom? Chapter 14 Bhagavad Gita says, Sattvam Sukhasangena Badnati. Even pursuing a dharma marga, we may get attached to the happy situation, to the punyam, to the favorable situation. And even that, for that I need a birth to exhaust it. So dharma, artha, kama, all of them keep me bound in the cycle of samsara. So this is what Ramana Maharishi is saying. It is patana karanam, and what else? Phalam ashashvatam. So the jiva birds are perched on the samsara vriksha, to use the analogy from chapter 15 Gita. Some are in the higher branches, Vargaloka, some lower branches, and some us, we are in the middle branches. Yeah, but all are inside the samsara vriksha. How to fly away from the samsara vriksha, how to be free from that, that is the next shloka. But before that, gati nirodhakam. Gati nirodhakam means this cycle of samsara and karma obstructs the gati, yeah, the progress. How, we can see in our own times today, how time has become such a costly commodity. WhatsApp karma, how many hours does it take? 3 hours per day. Then Netflix, social media, Insta, Twitter, email, then shopping, then visiting people, and then cooking, cleaning, all that, then some leisure, rest, TV watching. All this and the day is over. Then 6 hours of sleep we need. Yeah. So then activities centered on family, profession, possessions, maintenance, and gadget centered activities. Where is the time for Atma Chintanam? So, Bhagavad Pada Shankaracharya said, "Na kate kanta kaste putraha kasya tvam kaha kuta ayataha." Who is asking the questions? Where did I come from? Who is my beloved wife really? Did I know her before the marriage? Who is the one who is my dear son and daughter? Think about all this, but where is the time? Not even time. Where is the mindset to think about this? Is the mind available to do Atma Chintanam? It is turbulent, it is filled with stress and anxiety and hopelessly caught in the karma net. This is what Maharishi is trying to tell us in the second shloka. Actually, for a student, serious student of moksha, even celebrations like Janmashtami, Dashara is an obstacle because it will take up the time that one can devote to Shravana, Mananam, Nityasana. For a very serious student of moksha, and they will reduce the time for the usual ritualistic activities and balance it out with the jnana marga. Okay? So, now the Gita has said nobody can remain still even for a moment. And nahi kaschit jatu tishtati akarmakrit. Nobody can sit still because anatma will always be changing under the influence of maya. And if we are caught in this karma net, then what is the solution? Third shloka is the solution. You know, if karma net is like a poisonous snake, then we have to defang it. A defanged snake is no more poisonous. Yeah, and that is where we saw what is the way out? Karma yoga. Now, karma yoga means what? May one remain in the world, but to be a karma sannyasi. To remain in the world, to be a karma sannyasi. Then the third shloka is a very important one. Ishwararpitam nechaya kritam chitta shodakam mukti sadakam. Nothing but karma yoga. So, all our desire-based karmas, yeah, prompted by ragadvesha and which give finite results, may one give up the attachment to the fruits. Yeah, how do we do that? Ishvara arpitam karma. May one offer the karma to Ishvara. Now, I can offer a flower at an altar, at a puja, but how to offer an action to the feet of the Lord? Where is the Lord, first of all? So, that is where the principles of right comes into, picture. Reduce adharma, increase dharma, dedicate the actions to Ishvara and experience prasada. So, offering the actions to the Lord means what? There is a cosmic setup. Ishvara has manifested a certain situations in everyone's life. So, may one do what is to be done without complaining, without resistance, no, without ragadveshas, but enthusiastic. There is a cosmic puja going on, and I am an enthusiastic participant. I am a devotee, and I do what is to be done at that time and place. And at the same time, when I offer my actions, I am ready to receive the result as prasada. We have seen all this in great detail in the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna has said, Yogastakkur karmani sangam tyaktva karoti yaha siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Whether siddhi or asiddhi, no, I enjoy the inner samatvam. There is always success for me because I have offered the actions. Such a yogi is called yogastaha, a karma yogi or a buddha yogi. Then here, such a attitude. So what has changed now? Only internal cognitive shift has happened. You know, there is the bhakti attitude of offering to Ishvara. And what will that do? Chitta shodakam. Chitta shodakam is very important because that will release the mind from all the turbulence, the stress and the anxiety. That is why Krishna repeatedly told Arjuna, Uttishta, Yudhasva, think of me, smile, engage in the battle and do what is to be done because that is your Kshatriya dharma. You cannot ask me to, give you sannyasa and run away from the battle. So he's teaching the Karma Yoga to Arjuna. And so that becomes Mukti Sadhakam. So that Chitta Shuddhi is the intermediate goal and gives me the Jnana Yogyata for Mukti. So it is a Mukti Sadhanam in the long run. So you see how important the role of karma is. It is important and it is not to be neglected and ignored, but it is a setu. We have to use it as a bridge to mature, to have a strong foundation and transition over to Jnana Kanda. That's the whole idea. Yeah? So converting all actions, whether it's your professional actions or religious actions, mundane actions, worldly actions, may one spiritualize them all and offer it to the Lord. And Chitta Shodhakam is, it will give me a serene, stable mind. So, you see how beautifully Maharishi has compacted the whole first Shatkam of the Bhagavad Gita in just 3 verses. Yeah? The role of karma was explained, limitation of karma, then how to change a binding karma to a non-binding, liberating karma through Karma Yoga, and how that becomes a sadhana for mukti eventually. Okay? So, yeah, and that is the Chitta Shodhakam also means neutralize the Raga Dveshas. Raga Dvesha is the main malam in my mind. Yeah, I have attachment to certain things and aversion to others. So only when I have the attitude of Karma Yoga, Ishvara Arpanam Bhavana, will I be released from that malam. Okay? So that was a quick recap of this karma topic of the first 3 verses. Okay? Now we are going to proceed to the next shlokas here. Now, when it is said Ishvara Arpanam, do Ishvara Arpanam, then who is Ishvara? Okay, it is an intelligent principle that governs the whole universe. Yeah? But now, Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi is entering the topic of bhakti and upasana. Karma is over. Yeah? Now, bhakti means what? Devotion, basically. Yeah? Now, can there be karma yoga without devotion? No. Right? The very fact, Ishvara Arpanam. Ishvara Arpanam is there. So, that implies that I have to have devotion. Devotion to Bhagavan. Without that, karma yoga is impossible. Yeah? So, what is that devotion? How to discover the devotion in me? How to become a devotee is the essence of the next few shlokas. Bhagavan says, and let us chant those shlokas also 2 times. Kaya vang manaha karyamuttamam pujanam japaha chintanam pramaha vang manaha karyamuttamam pujanam japaha chintanam pramaha. So now we are entering the bhakti topic, and bhakti is a very essential component of any puja. So here, Maharishi says, Kaya Vam Manaha Karyam Uttamam Pujanam Japaha Chintanam Kramat. Now, Karya means any action. So, how do we perform actions? There are 3 karanas. One is Kaya. Kaya is Deha, body. Vang, speech, the vocal organs. Like right now, I'm using the vocal organ. Vak Indriyam. Then Manaha is mind. So, notice how there is a gradation. Kaya is gross, is visible, it's tangible, and Vak is subtler, and Manas is the most subtle karana, instrument. So here Maharishi is saying pujanam, no? Pujanam, japaha, chintanam, kramat. So we can offer, actions through all these karanas. So we have to match. Kramat means consecutively. Yeah. Pujanam is done with kaya. Japaha is done with vak indriyam. And chintanam, meditation with the manaha. Mana. Now you got the essence of the meaning. Kaya vang manaha karyam uttamam pujanam japaha chintanam krama. So here, this verse is talking about the importance of puja. No? Puja is Ishvara Aradhanam. It is one of the 5 important Mahayajnas, Deva Yajnaha, and we all would be starting with that Deva Yajna every day, by connecting to Ishvara through my Ishta Devata or Grama Devata or Kula Devata. So here, puja is the ritualistic worship, japa is the mantra repetition, and chintanam refers to dhyana. Yeah, dhyana. So Maharishi says that there is a gradation here. Yeah, that is japa is superior to kaika puja. So if you are doing kaika puja, vachika puja, and manasika puja, there is a gradation. Okay, the vachika puja is considered superior to kaika puja, and manasika puja is uttamam and is more superior than the other 2. Now let us see how. When you say kaika puja, when we do a puja like Shodasha Upachara or Panchayatanam puja we have, then the body is a very useful instrument. We have to clean the altar, we have to pluck the flowers, we have to go and make the naivedyam, we have to make garlands with the hands, yeah, and then do namaskaras with the body. So definitely the body is predominantly used in any puja. Yeah? Even the mind and vocal organs will be used, but mainly body in a puja. But what happens is during a puja, what do? We ask Bhagavan to wait and I go and switch off the cooker. Or I will say, somebody is at the door, I have to go and attend, and then I will come back and resume the puja. So there may be some of us, doing this kind of interrupted puja, right? Because something more important needs attendance, to be attended to. Nothing should be more important than Deva Yajna. We have to at least give, 10 minutes, 15 minutes to Bhagavan, who has given us everything. And still we get interrupted by phone calls, courier, and kitchen duties and all that. So that is why Kaika Puja is at the lowest end. Because there are so many distractions. And also everyday puja, do we do it with a fresh mind every day or does it become mechanical? Fresh mind, exactly. That's how it should be. That every day I am delighted to do my Deva Yajna, Ishvara Aradhana, and that is the Kaika Puja, the first. Then we take the Vachika. Now, Vachika Puja means in the form of suktams and stavas, praise, mantra repetition, Vishnu Sahasranama, Lalita Sahasranama. There are still distractions, but less than Kaika Puja. Yeah, there also there will be interruptions, and I will keep coming back. But they are superior to Kaika Puja because less distractions will be there. The vocal organ is more subtle. Yeah? Then let us come to Chintanam. Chintanam here is Dhyanam. Yeah? Mental. Yeah, the mental worship means Dhyanam. Can my mind dwell upon my Ishta Devata or or Bhagavan for a length of time? And that is considered to be the best worship. Now that Chintanam will be effective only when we have successfully crossed Kaika Puja and done a lot of japa in life, isn't it? Yeah? So, when Krishna says in the Gita, Patram Pushpam Phalantoyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati, that means Shall I just offer one flower or some water or a fruit and get away with it? No, Bhagavan is watching. He'll say this person is, is not paying attention, not doing any kaika puja, no mantra repetition, and just offering a flower. The result will be not there. So that shloka is meant for those who are advanced Nishkama Bhaktas. Those who really have no personal agenda, or desire, if they offer even one flower, a leaf, some water and fruit, it is accepted by the Lord. So we have to see where we stand, We need to do all the three. We have to do some puja every day and to quieten the mind, some japa, mantra repetition, and also devote time to chintana. But chintana will be effective only when the mind has already been strengthened by puja and japa. So it is best to combine all the three. And all the three, what do? Strengthen the mind. And the turbulent mind will be rendered calm and serene. And then what? Then only karma yoga we can do. Effortlessly our actions will be offered to the Lord. Because I have discovered the bhakti now. Bhakti to the Lord. Yeah. So, and again, when we do puja and all this, japam. In japam, by the way, we can include parayanam also. Because that's also vachika karma. But if I do any of these karmas with a motive, materialistic gain, dhanam, arogyam, aishwaryam, putram, pautram, then again it becomes a sakama bhakti. It will not be a chitta shodhakam or karma yoga. So the idea here is that the role of bhakti, Puja Swamiji would say that there is no karma yoga without bhakti, and also no bhakti without karma yoga. See, when we are expressing bhakti towards Bhagavan, we are doing karma also, no? I have to prepare prasadam, clean the altar, bring flowers. That is karma. So they go together. They complement each other beautifully. So we are still in the karma section, but there is the attitude of bhakti now, which is coming. Yeah. So to discover the devotion in me, these three activities are very important. Some Kayika Puja, some Japa, and some Chintanam over the Devata. All these three constitute the Bhakti attitude and strengthen the mind and reduce the Chanchalatvam, the mental oscillation. Now, in the next verses, Maharishi is going to take each one of them and explain what is really puja, what is japa, what are the kinds of japa, and what is chintanam. So let's go to the next one. And that is shloka number 5. Also twice we'll chant. Jagata Ishadhi Yukta Sevanam Ashtamurti Deva Pujanam Ishadhi Yukta Sevanam Ashtamurti Deva Pujanam. Very beautiful shloka here. What is really puja mean to us? So, Jagataha Ishadhi Yukta Sevanam. See how crisp the shlokas are? Samasas. One word, expresses so many ideas. Jagataha Ishadhi Yukta Sevanam. Ashtamurti Brit Deva Pujanam. Now, the shloka is talking about Deva Puja. Now, I'm sure we all have an Ishta Devata, favorite deity. Krishna, Rama, Devi, Shiva, Subramanya, Ganesha, all these are there. So, here Bhagavan is saying that is what Ekarupa Bhakti. Towards your Kula Devata, Grama Devata, Ishta Devata. But may one expand the mind, make it so sensitive to see Ishvara in the whole world. Jagataha Ishadhi Yukta. Ishadhi means with a mind that Ishwarizes everything. Remember the first mantra, Visha Upanishad? ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यत्किञ्च जगत्यां जगत्. Very important mantra where Upanishad says the whole jagat, yatkincha jagatyam jagat is to be vasyam isha, clothed or covered by Ishvara. That means I should have the Ishvara buddhi. That is meant here Ishadhi. Jagataha Ishadhi yuktam. Yukta means endowed with such a perspective that the whole world is the altar. The whole world is Ishvara. Why? Because the Jagat is a manifestation of Ishvara. And what is created is the creator. The given is the giver. So, may one worship Ishvara in the form of this entire prapancha. And that is nothing other than Vishwarupa Darshanam, same, which we saw in chapter 11 of the Gita. And such a worship is the worship of Ashtamurti Vrit. Ashtamurti Vrit means the world is, worshipped as having 8 aspects. Yeah, having 8 aspects. Dakshinamurti Stotram number 9, I think, no? Bhurambhasya nilo nilo paramah nato himanshu kumahan ityabhati characharatmakamidam yasyaiva murtyashtakam. If you have been to any of our Dakshinamurti temple, Arshavidya, you will see that the whole 8 aspects can be seen. The 5 elements, Pancha Mahabhutas, yeah, that is Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apaha, Prithvi. Akasha is in the Damru, yeah, and Prithvi is Akasha, Vayu. Vayu is actually the hair. Sometimes the dancing Nataraja will have the hair on the side, and that implies there is a Akasha Tattva. Yeah. Then fire, Agni is the torch. There'll be a blazing torch. Then Apaha is Gangaji from the crown, and then Prithvi is the whole body. That is the alloy, the minerals with which the Vigraha is made. Then sun and moon, we have the Kundalams for Dakshinamurti. Then 7 and 8 is Puman. Puman means Jivaha, the sentient conscious being. You, me, he, she, and it. So is there anything left out in the world? No. Chara Charatmakam Jagat is covered. Whatever is sentient and insentient is all covered in these 8-fold aspects. 5 elements are Pancha Mahabhutas. The sun stands for all the galaxies and sun stars. The moon stands for all the planets and satellites. And the Puman stands for all the Jiva Rashis. So that is pointed out here by Maharishi, that the real higher grade worship is what? We must step out of that puja room. See, our Deva Yajna in our home, maybe maximum 1 hour every day. Anybody doing puja for 3 hours? Impossible. Some may be doing exceptions, yeah. But we will do maximum 1 hour, and some are weekend bhaktas or only on Paurnima or Janmashtami and Dashara Diwali. Certain occasions of the year they may do. But this puja, Jagata Ishadhi Yuktam Ashtamurti Vritdeva Pujanam is 24/7. When we go out, leave the home, still the puja has to continue. And this shloka talks about may one do the puja through sevanam. That sevanam word means pujan. How do we do puja of the whole world? Will I go about showering flowers? No, it is to appreciate that the whole Jagat is a manifestation of Ishvara, and including me. Yeah, so I do what is to be done. By offering one's actions to Ishvara, Swakarmana Tamabhyarcha, and without resistance and Ragadvesha, and receiving the results with Prasada Buddhi. Yeah? And of course, very important is the Jagat Chakram. this cosmic puja that is going on, I am a part of that. So when I do what is to be done, when I joyously and unattached perform what is to be done by me, then I am a participant in the cosmic puja. Otherwise, I am obstructing it. I am resisting the cosmic puja. So that is called Sevanam. Sevanam is to be appreciate, whatever is happening is by the will of Ishvara, and I am a participant. Even Vishnu Sahasranama, we see this Jagat picture, Virat. Upadau yasya nabhir vyadasura nelaschanda suryaucha netri. How the Bhuloka are the feet, heavens are the head, and space is the body, Surya and Chandra are the netra, and the directions are the ears. So that is the Ishvara talked about in this shloka. How that Ishtadevata in my heart or in my puja room has expanded to include the whole universe. So Jagataha Ishati Yuktam Sevanam. May one worship that Ishvara. And in our culture, we are already trained through the culture to do this. No? When we look upon a cow, then that is Gomata worship. We have turmeric Ganesha, and even the mundane activities during the day. Get up in the morning, I ask for forgiveness to step on the ground, then lighting a lamp, before bathing, before eating, before doing anything, before constructing a house, I do Bhumi Puja. The dancer will salute the stage. Yeah, and when I buy a vehicle, I do car puja and mobile puja. So that drishti is already there. And that is only again expressed beautifully in this shloka. So with this shloka, Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi explains the Kaika Puja. That is, let it not be confined to, one place in time and one Vigraha, but may one expand to include the whole universe. Yeah? Then, let's see the next one, which is number 6. Here, Ramana Maharishi will take up the Japa. Japa is the Vachika Karma. Uttamastavadutchamantatah. Uttam. Repeat. Uttamastavat uchchamantatah. Chittajam japa dhyanamuttamam. Chittajam japa dhyanamuttamam. In Uttamastavat. Now here the role of japa, which is a vachika karma, is being explained. Uttama stavat uccha mandataha chittajam japa dhyanam uttamam. Now japa we know is the repetition of any mantra. Very, very powerful technique to prevent the mind from getting lost in memories and build up of anxiety, projecting into the future, getting troubled, because there is only one mantra. It can be Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Narayana, Nirguna mantra Om, or Saguna mantras are there, Gayatri mantra. So those, when we repeat the mantra, it is like allowing only one groove, one channel in the mind. And the mind will gain strength and calm down and be very, very focused. And in this Vachika Karma, we can include what? Parayanam also. Any Sahasranama, or like you all did Upadesha Saaram Parayanam, Gita Parayanam we did on Sunday, Narayaniam Parayanam, all this will be Japa. So what is the role of Japa? Japa is also to strengthen and make the mind one-pointed. And here in this shloka, Ramana points out 3 ways we can do japa. One is Uchchehi, loud japa. Like now we are all chanting the shlokas loudly, right? And that also has a purifying effect. Then we can do what? Mandataha. Mandataha means softly. You just murmur. You just murmur. So that is for yourself, right? That is mandataha japa. Then even softer is in the mind, chittajam japa. That is only in the mind. If you can repeat a mantra, then it shows that you have mastered the mind to a great extent. Because that is the subtlemost instrument and the subtlemost way of the mantra repetition, which will have the maximum beneficial effect. But if that is not happening, then what? We have to go back to Uchaihi Japa, loud chanting, then Mandataha, then Chittajam. Yeah? So, all these are effective to strengthen the mind, and it's a very powerful tool to focus the mind. Now, the next shloka will take up the dhyana, that is the manasika karma. We will see that briefly also today. आज्यधारया स्रोतसा समम् स्रोतसा समम् सरलचिन्तनं विरलतः परम् विरलतः परम् आज्यधारया स्रोतसा समम् सरलचिन्तनं विरलतः परम्. This shloka takes up the third ritual done with the mind, manasika karma, which is chintanam, or you can say saguna dhyanam also. So how does Maharishi explain that? Ajyadharaya srotasa samam sarala chintanam virlata param. So the constant meditation, the meditation in the mind is like Ajyadhara. Ajya means ghee, clarified butter. And Srotasa, Srota means water, river waters. So the constant meditation is like the steady flow of ghee from one vessel to another, or the effortless flow of the river waters into the ocean. And that is Sarala Chintanam, better, param, than Viralataha. Viralataha means disturbed and interrupted meditation. So the meditation, that is the mind, should be so strengthened and mastered so that it can flow effortlessly towards the object of meditation, that is Bhagavat Swarupa, like even the Ajyadhara or the effortless flow of the river. Now, why two examples are given? Some commentators have commented that Ajyadhara, in fact, in Rama Gita, some Shastras, we saw Tailadharavat, like oil. Even oil, when you pour, it's continuous, right? Steady flow. But here, Ajya is taken because he is sticky. Sticky means Sneha is there. So, we have to experience a love and a devotion to Bhagavan in order to constantly fix the mind on Bhagavan. That's why Ajya is taken as an example. Ajyadharaya may one do chintanam. And Srotasa, like a river, like a river. See, the Ganga, Devi in our ashram in the north, Rishikesh. When we have our camps there and classes, in between the classes, what do we all do? Only one thing. We sit on the benches and watch Ganga flowing. So beautiful. And she keeps flowing calmly or even restlessly. But even as we watch, our minds become so calm. That is the only pastime in between classes there. With a cup of tea, of course. So, Srotasa Samam. So, this Chintanam, the meditation of the mind, is like the effortless flow of a river water or Ajya Dhara. And just as a river merges into the ocean, so too the mind, as Ramana will put it, has to merge into its source. And what is the source? That is the Shanti Swarupa Atma. So if I take some few minutes in the day and I just sit quietly, then Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, you abide in that source, in that source which is Shanti, which is the silence. And that silence is Atma. And that is Sthula, Sukshma, Karana, Sharirat, Vyatiriktaha. It is distinct from all of them. But you see, why do we have all these Karanas, Kaika Puja, Vachika Puja, Manasika Puja? So that all the Karanas can be purified and bring me to that innermost silence, which is my true nature. So when Arjuna asks Krishna, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna, Pramati Balavatridam, Tasyaham Nigraham Mani Vayoreva Sudushkaram. Krishna, this mind is so turbulent, it is wandering all over the place. Then what does Krishna say? Asam Shayam Mahabhago Manodur Nigraham Chalam Abhyasena tu Kaunteya Vairagena Jagrahyate. Abhyasa, again and again, you do Abhyasa and practice Vairagyam. So, these practices, all these practices are very relevant to arrive at that Shanti Swarupa Atma. So you see how we saw the first 3 shlokas talked about Karma Yoga to silence the mind, purify it from the malam of Raga Dveshas. Then 4, 5 and 6 talked about the practices of Kaika Puja, Vachika Puja, Manasika Puja, in further silencing the mind, endowing it with bhakti and calming it down. And then finally the 8th one, talked about 7th, no? Yeah. The 7th one is then it will effortlessly, the mind will flow towards the source and abide there. And this is what whole life of Ramana Maharishi showed only this. How can one just abide and contemplate ceaselessly on that Atma Swarupa for years? So, this is the message that we have this spiritual routine, so that we include, all these factors in our daily life. Kaika Puja and Japa also is there. And then when all the previous Karma Yoga, Japa, Puja, everything has been done sufficiently, then the mind is going to easily flow steadily towards the source. And that is the Atma Chintanam. In fact, the very next shloka, Bhagavan is going to say that you do Soham Puja. Saha Aham Puja. Right now, if you do a puja to a devata other than you, external to you, that definitely has a benefit to calm the mind down, to establish a connection through Vatsalya or whatever bhavana we have. But ultimately, that Eka Rupa Bhakti has to expand to Aneka Rupa Bhakti, and finally to Arupa Atma Bhakti, Nishkama Bhakti. And that is talked about in the next shloka, and we will see the next session. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Let's just chant these 3 new shlokas today. 4, 5, 6 and 7. Kaya Manaha Karyamuttamam Pujanam Japaha Chintanam Prama Jagata Ishati Yukta Sevanam Ashtamurti Deva Pujanam Uttamastavat Uchamandataha Chittajam Japa Jnanamuttamam. आज्यधारया स्रोतसा समम् सरलचिन्तनं विरलतः परम्